Putting the accents on the right syllables, right? So reread that to me, but give me a little bit more emphasis on the words that you think should be emphasized.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. If I gave you a Rolex watch and I gave another one to a busy jewelry store, who do you think could sell that watch for the most money in the next 30 days?
Wait a minute. That was beautiful. Hold on, I'm getting emotional. Come on. Thank God, okay. All right, that's what you got to do. You got to look, when you start role playing, you have to start concentrating on what those words are. Not just read them, but understand what I'm trying to say. So, with that particular close, what are the results I'm looking for? Or you? What results are you looking for?
For the seller to say, oh, well, obviously the jewelry store, and the jewelry store is in relation to a real estate office like mine.
Exactly. But the whole point of that particular close is to get them to understand that a store that has frontage on a major street, it has a built-in clientele, people coming into that store looking for watches and jewelry, is going to be more likely to sell that watch prior to you selling that watch sitting here in the middle of the block. Okay, so finish that. Give me the other paragraph.
Says why, and then the seller says they spend more on advertising, have a nice location, already have the right clientele, bingo. I don't know if Rolex watches are really worth 10 times what other watches cost or not, but I know my real estate signs turn your house into a Rolex house. The fact is, people will pay more for a Rolex house.
Okay. Very good. First time read through it is really very good. But now what we want to start doing is we want to start making that sound very conversational. Now the only way it's going to sound conversational is if you really kind of know it backwards and forwards. So you can say it as if I'm speaking to you right now. You know, knowing exactly what I need to say and say it the exact proper way. So give it to me one more time, but try to do it a little bit more conversationally. Try to sound less like you're reading and more like you're conversing with me.
How do I do with this part? Is this more like one section? Like, how do I make that into?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Like, because, like, would I stop in between?
Like pause in between?
Like, yeah, like pause in between certain parts? Or is
sure.
that something that you kind of learn on your own? You figure out what?
That, you know what, that's where your voice becomes your voice as opposed to mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the words, I want you to use those words, but I want those words to come out in your voice, your cadence, the way you speak. So you absolutely have to take breaths, and you have to give pauses as you speak. You can't just spit it out, because that's going to do nothing but bore the hell out of your customer.
Yeah.
So give it to me again, and give me the pauses where you think they should be.
I don't know if Rolex watches are really worth 10 times what other watches cost or not. But I know my real estate signs turn your house into a Rolex house. The fact is, people will pay more for a Rolex house.
Listen, I don't know if Rolex watches are worth 10 times more what other watches are worth. But what I do know is that when I put my sign in front of your house becomes a Rolex house. See the difference?
Sound more better.